Hi, it's Joyce Hopewell here. Welcome to Astro Chat. I'm going to say something about Neptune today. I've talked about Pluto various times, Uranus, and now it's the turn of Neptune. One of the three transpersonal planets along with Uranus and Pluto. The big heavies, if you like. And these are always a little bit more difficult to understand and interpret in astrology and what they may actually mean in your life and in your astrological chart. So for starters, most people tend to think about Neptune as being, perhaps a bit confusing, to do with illusion, being slightly out of touch with things, not really understanding things, with confusion. Neptune is usually associated with being confused in some way. Some astrologers look at a chart and say, ooh, with Neptune there, you're probably into drink or drugs. It's to do with escapism. But that actually is just looking at it at one level. Perhaps we might think of that as being an asleep level, because there are three levels in which we look at the planets, particularly these transpersonal ones: asleep, waking, and awake. And the one that we are most interested in aspiring to, is awake, using these planets, the energies that are trying to channel themselves through us out into the world in a fully awake way. So with Neptune, yes, we can get confused, we can become caught up with illusions if we're using it at an asleep level. But at an awake level, it's to do with almost like being able to connect with something outside of ourselves. Neptune is to do with being inclusive. It's to do with seeing the whole big picture and with putting our own ego self aside. And it's to do with being compassionate and caring and identifying with another person, another creature, with a landscape. Very often people talk about having peak experiences when they're almost stepping out of themselves and viewing everything as a whole, being part of it. That's a Neptunian experience. Neptune is to do with totally inclusive behaviour. It doesn't judge anything, it just accepts. And on its very highest level, Neptune is unconditional, non-judgmental love. So there's a lot to take on board there. I suggest you go and look at some astrology books. You might like to have a look at mine. I've written about all three transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, in my book, The Cosmic Egg Timer. It comes up in some of the other books I've written as well. Go around, just try being more creative, because that's to do with Neptune, more inclusive, more open, more accepting. Stop putting the barriers and the boundaries up so much. Go forward with Neptune and allow things to be just as they are, which is perfect. Bye for now.